Welcome back to Living Local. The Bix Beiderbecke Museum is set to move from its longtime home, and there's much to explore about what that means for the institution, the community, and jazz lovers around the world. And here to talk more about all of that is Nathaniel Kraft, director of the Bix Beiderbecke Museum and Archives, and Josh Duffee, a globally renowned musician, band leader, and passionate ambassador of Bix's legacy. Hey, welcome back to the show, guys.
Great to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. So Nathaniel, let's start with you. Let's start with the big news. Why was now the right time to relocate, and what is that going to mean for the future of the museum itself?
Yeah, so it's two-pronged approach. The museum flooded in 2023, second flood, and we were closed for about 6 months. And as a result, if we're talking about our mission of preserving Bix's legacy, you can't really preserve it if our artifacts get destroyed.
Right, yeah, that's problematic.
And the other part is we weren't very visible. We're in the basement of the Redstone Building on 2nd Street. And I think I'd say the hardest thing for people was finding us.
Yeah.
You have to enter the space. It says our address is Main Street, but you have to go on 2nd Street, go down an elevator, and then take a couple rights, and you find us. And there's 8 other tenants in the building. So the building, which is just north of 2nd Street, it's well, the north side of 2nd Street, is ground floor. It's far enough away from the water.
Right there. It's right there.
And we have a bunch of window space and an overhang for signage. So we'll finally have signs, and when you walk down 2nd Street, you will never be wondering if there's a museum on that road.
It's right there. And Josh, you've dedicated much of your career to preserving the legacy of Bix, and through your performance in education. You know, what does this museum, and specifically the relocation, kind of mean for, you know, his ongoing legacy?
Well, just as Nathan said, it's going to give it that public image and eye, so people are driving by, they're going to be able to see it. And then when school groups are possibly going to the Figgy, they're going to see the Bix Museum as well. So there's a lot of great places for students to go for education events down there on 2nd Street. So he's an important part of our community, and if the young generation learn about who he was as a musician and as a person, they're going to fall in love with him just like I did when I was really young.
Yeah, you have Motor Row, now you're going to have Museum Row.
That's right,
that's right. That's the important thing. So the museum is aiming at reopening in mid-July with a grand opening during Bix weekend, hopefully. Now, there's a lot to do. So you're looking for some volunteers, and you know, it's a big move, right? Yeah,
luckily for us, no rental trucks, big moving companies. We're taking everything, walking across the street with it. But we need bodies. You know, we still have to paint the interior of the space. We have to take apart the exhibit, which will be closing June 6th after the Live at 5 party on that Friday. And then throughout that weekend and the beginning of that early week, we'll be deconstructing the exhibit. Tri-City is going to be taking out all of our lights and moving it over to the space. And then slowly throughout June, we're going to be painting and then moving things over. So we do need people who can help with, you know, even if you can't really carry too much stuff, we have some banners and stuff. And also, like, we just need people who can, you know, do screwdrivers.
Come hang out.
Hang out, help us move. You know, it should be a fun time. You just need help.
Cool. And Josh, as someone who's, you know, deeply connected to the music, what kind of stories, artifacts, and rotating exhibits can people expect to see? Because I know you're taking a different approach to the museum itself. Right.
The neat thing about this museum is that you can actually walk Bix's life and his livelihood through music and here in the Quad Cities. And it starts with the home at 1934 Grand Avenue, and it goes all the way around and shows his time with Goldcat. But you can actually see the piano that he had in his apartment in New York. But in addition to that, we have musical instruments from Red Nichols there, his cornet. Just acquired Miff Mole's trombone, and so you're going to see other instruments of musicians that were friends with Bix Beiderbecke during that time.
Yeah, that's bonkers that you guys have acquired some of that stuff too. Like, this is like musical history. You have to like think about that. And the museum will be shifting to a new admission model and eventually rotating, like we said, kind of a rotational exhibit gallery. You know, how do these changes kind of help preserve the future of the museum?
Yeah, so with the new move comes new costs.
Of course.
The museum has historically been funded through donations and grant funding. And so what will happen is, with the admission, it's going to help us get a little bit more stable funding.
Good.
And we're very mindful of, we don't want to make it a barrier for people to come visit. So we'll have opportunities for discounted rates, and then also maybe some dates that we'll have free admission for people to come in. But what will happen is, especially with this admission price, we're going to be able to develop a rotational exhibit to make it more worthwhile for people.
Oh, that's great.
And this will be, we have a bunch of items that we can't show in the collection. It doesn't fit, you know, our permanent exhibit of Bix's life. And so we can have that stuff on display for the first time for a while. One of it includes Bix's grandparents' piano that we have.
That's cool.
We've had it sitting in storage for years.
Wow.
People haven't been able to see it.
Yeah.
And a few other items like that. But then also it lets us get items loaned in. We can do community exhibits with other organizations. You know, maybe we want to do an art exhibit. You know, and it helps bring people back so that their admission price is worth it, and they feel compelled to come back rather than see it once.
Well, I love that you guys came in. Thank you so much. I wish I had about an hour to talk with you both. I don't. But thank you so much, and I hope that everything goes smoothly with the move, and I can't wait to have you guys back on to chat about the opening here soon. So thanks, fellas. I appreciate it. Yeah. For more information, you can visit bixmuseum.org. We'll have all those details posted at ourquadcities.com.